Hi everyone, I hope you're well. I wanted to just take a quick moment and throw together a video for you about just a walkthrough of the GHC e-learning continuity of instruction plan. I hope the video would be a little bit easier to follow than a document alone. So to start off, you'll need to access Canvas. You can do that through GHC EDU quick links, click in Canvas, or go to ghc.instructure.com. From there, you should be able to log in with your GHC email and password. If for some reason you are not able to, you'll need to reach out to IT at helpdesk@ghc.edu. They'll be able to help you get logged in. Okay, once in, you should be able to click on your courses, and you should see all of your courses, whether or not you've ever used Canvas. If you don't see a course that you teach, then you'll want to reach out to me at elearning@ghc.edu. Your course exists, you just might not yet be added as the teacher. I've created this empty course to use for this demonstration. Now, the first thing to note is that students can't interact with anything in Canvas until you publish it. And in this case, the whole course is unpublished, so we'll want to publish that, because that's going to allow us to reach out to our students and communicate with them. Before I send that message, I want to set up one thing, just a quick discussion that students can use to connect with me and each other about common questions. Otherwise, I'm going to get the same questions over and over from every single one of my students. So I'm going to add a discussion. And I have made some recommendations here for you, so I'm just going to copy and paste here. I recommend a campus closure questions discussion and some instructions here, just some suggested language, just to make this nice and easy for you. You've got a lot to think about right now, so try to take as many things off of your plate as I can. Go ahead and allow threaded replies. That's going to allow students to respond to each other, and then we'll save and publish. Okay, now that I've established a place for students to ask their common questions, I'm going to send a message to all of my students. And your students will all automatically be enrolled in your Canvas courses. Go ahead and compose a new message, and you'll find that the Canvas inbox tool has gotten a little fidgety. Yeah, it's very annoying. You're not alone in struggling with that. Okay, and what I'll be able to do here is say to all students, but I don't have any students in this course, so I'm just going to send a message to myself. I'm going to just call this campus closure. Send an individual message to each recipient. Sure, it doesn't really matter in this case. Okay, and then also some language in the continuity of instruction plan that you can copy and paste. The one thing I'll note, if you're copy and pasting this into Canvas, is it's going to take away the hyperlinks to the instructions for how to download the Canvas app and get set up in Android and iOS. So you might need to go into that document and just right-click on those links and copy hyperlink, and then you can maybe add those in if you wish to do so. Or you might want to put those into your discussion board or an announcement or someplace else. And then I would just press send. And let's go back to my course now. So I've established communication with my students. Make sure also when you send out that message, there's a line in there that says, if you need to contact me, the best way to reach me is, and then that you state your preference. Okay, the course is published. I have a discussion set up, and students know the best way to reach me. The next step is going to be to create my course's navigation. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is create a module. And I'm going to recommend calling this Day 1 Campus Closure Alternate Online Learning. And we would just do a new module for each day. You don't have to do that, but that's my recommendation. Okay, and now this is when we'll start putting things into the module that are going to supplant our learning activities in the online environment. I can add new elements here, so new assignments, files, and things like that. Right now I'm just going to look for discussions, and so I could do a new topic, but I just want to add the discussion board that I've already created. So I'm going to add that. And notice that's published, but the module's not published, so students won't see things if they're not published. I want to go ahead and publish this module. All right, and then any other content that I wanted to add here is going to show up in day 1, and then if we're closed for a second day, I'm going to add a new module for day 2, and so on and so on. The other thing that I want to do in terms of navigation for the students is I want to go into my settings for the course, and I want to look at the navigation. All of these elements students will have access to right now, and maybe this is a little overwhelming and there are things in here I'm not really going to use, so I'm going to take some of those things away. They really don't necessarily need a separate quizzes tab as long as I have my assignments and other things available. They probably don't need this. If I'm not going to add my syllabus, they don't need that. They probably don't need to see a list of other people in the class. Some things I probably do want to keep are access to the library, to e-tutoring. They can't see this accessibility report anyway, and keep the support syllabus handy also. Also definitely want to keep modules on there, as well as grades. Okay. You might find other tools like the chat to be handy during this time also, but that's really up to you. All right, going back into modules. All right, I'm ready to start adding my lessons and assignments that are going to replace the classroom activities. I'm not going to go through all of how to use Canvas to do those things right now. There are other resources available for you, and if you need help finding them, then let me know. Reach out to me at elearning@ghc.edu, and I'll connect you with whatever it is you're wanting to do. If you would go ahead and do a practice quiz, and we'll just call this a practice quiz, then this is, if you can create a quiz, then you can pretty much fumble your way through the rest of Canvas well enough. So I've created the quiz. Now I want to go through and edit it. Okay, so I can add instructions here. Here's my text editing tools. You'll notice settings down below, so I can say things like how many points this assignment is going to be worth, and when is it due, and then for quizzes you'll need to come back to the top and set up questions, and then you'll create new questions, and really this is something that if you fumble through and kind of get the hang of it, maybe try doing it 2 or 3 times, you'll probably end up feeling pretty proficient with the things that you would need to do in Canvas for a situation like this one. Realistically, you might not want to use quizzes, but you may wish to use assignments in order to have students submit things like Word documents. So that might be a good thing to practice as well, is just adding a single assignment. Okay, if you would like to add video lectures or other videos, I'm going to recommend that you use Panopto for this situation. Normally I wouldn't necessarily. You will need to download, but all of the instructions are in the instructional plan, and I didn't want to go that deep into it for this quick video. But if you feel like you need a video, let me know and I'll throw one together. Another thing you might be interested in is conferences. So if you decide I want to do synchronous sessions with my students, and we're going to meet during the times that we would normally meet, but we're just going to do it online, you can try to do that. Probably the simplest thing to do would be to use the conferences built into Canvas, and with those you can set a synchronous session. Now note that you are probably going to experience some technical difficulties with any of these solutions, whether you use this or Zoom or WebEx or Skype or Google Hangouts. So it's wise to try to set something up well in advance and get your students to work through any issues that they're experiencing before you rely on this. and probably in general, you want to have a recording of whatever it is you do, because relying on the students to be able to access a conference is going to be a dicey proposition at best. Okay, if you have other questions about how to set up course content, then feel free to reach out to me. Beyond this, the main thing is to make sure that you're maintaining communication, check in with students daily to let them know what's going on, and just again to reinforce expectations that you have for them during the closure. And then the last thing is just stay on top of any grading that you might wish to do. Any assignments that you create in Canvas are going to automatically create a grade in your gradebook. And you can see I don't have any students here, so nothing is popping up. But you'll be able to use the speed grader and the grading tools in Canvas, and they're quite convenient. Okay, if you need support, once again, contact me at elearning@ghc.edu. Hopefully, you don't need to watch this video, and all of this was for nothing. But besides that, be well, be safe. See you later. Wait, don't go! I forgot something very important. Okay, the one thing that I do want to qualify, because a lot of you aren't used to teaching online in Canvas, is that you may find that your course is broken up. In other words, you have students in 2 or 3 different classes, and you expect them to be just in a single class. You say, hey, these students usually all meet together in the same room, but here in Canvas, I have 2, 3 sections of them. If that happens, please send me an email. Let me know. What you want to do is a merge request, and then what I can do is merge those sections together so all those students are in class together. So double check your rosters, make sure that you don't have students that are missing that you think should be there, because there is also the possibility that you have 2 sections and your one section with 20 students, everybody's there, and you had another section with just 1 or 2 students, and somehow you were added as the teacher to that section. Those students are going to be completely left out of any communications or lessons that you create. So please double check your roster very carefully and make sure that everybody that should be there is there. All right, and once again, elearning@ghc.edu if you encounter any sort of problems or questions.